Foxhole. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words, the promotional words of the developer. And then I'll tell you if them words ring true or if they're just another load of Foxhole is a massively multiplayer game where you will work with hundreds of players to shape the outcome of a persistent online war. Every individual soldier is a player or a truck thief, that contributes to the war effort through logistics, base building, reconnaissance, combat and more. So what is Foxhole? Well, I've just told you, but I'll tell you my version of what Foxhole is. Yes, it is a MMO. It is a massive multiplayer. You will work with hundreds of players in the campaign mode to get the ultimate victory against the Colonials or the Wardens. They're the two factions that's fighting. But we all know it's the Germans with your half tracks. You don't fool us. Basically, this game has two modes. It has campaign. It's going to have another one that isn't in it. This is still in alpha. But at the minute you can play in campaign mode and in mode. Now the campaign mode is basically a set of territories that all matter, and it's a war to take all of the territories, and it ends whenever all the territories is taken, I think, although I haven't played through a full campaign yet, because you've just got to be lucky enough to get when a campaign's being played. At the moment the campaign's all over and we're waiting for it to restart, which is in 3 days time, I believe. So the other mode, where you just choose a server and you go into a battle, and these battles can take days. I mean, I've joined a battle on a specific server on a specific side. It's the Wardens v the Colonials, and the next day the battle was still going. So these take a long time, which is nice because that means the strategy. It's not just a pew-pew simulator, and this game does have a lot of strategy to it. For example, we need supply chains to supply your front lines, and the front lines need to expand, and they do that through supplies. They haven't time to get supplies, so we're going to talk firstly about how you get supplies and then what you can do to them. There's lots of different supplies in this game, from sulfur, components, scrap metal, and you have to use them components to turn them into usable materials, and you do that through processing plants, factories and things, but you have to build these things, and from these factories you can produce weapons and ammunition, and you can upgrade these factories to produce better weapons and better ammunition. And to get all these supplies around, you're going to need vehicles. To get a vehicle, you steal one. That's what everybody else is doing. I build them, but pretty much everybody starts stealing them. People seem to forget that this is a co-op game. It's a joint game. We're all on the same side. I was doing a very important job with my truck, heading in the opposite way to this guy, and this guy asked for a lift, and I says, I can't. I've got to take these supplies to a certain place. And they just give us a load of abuse over the mic. I mean, just walk. Stop being lazy. I'm doing a job. Do your own job. And I'll come to all this in a minute about team killing and stuff. But anyway, you build your vehicles. You can upgrade your vehicle factories to build better vehicles. Half tracks, tanks, all kinds of stuff. But you start off with basic stuff like sidecar, motorcycle sidecar, and a truck. And the trucks are essential because trucks ferry troops and supplies where they are needed. And you need people to take command in this game. You need somebody who knows what they're doing, who can direct the rest of the people around. There's no room for egos in this game. You've got to just listen to the people who know what they're talking about and obey them if you want to win, if you want the full experience. And I have no problem taking orders unless they are French, German, Italian or Spanish. Now, once the front line's equipped, the front line can expand by taking over the enemy territory and fortifying it with bunkers, which will auto fire at the enemy, but not very well. But you can get in the bunkers and you can man the bunkers. You can build big bloody defensive guns like tower defense. You can build barricades. You can upgrade, like I said, factories and build more of them. And you also have town halls. Now I think they're called town halls, and they're where you spawn, and you can set your spawn at any town hall, and the town hall is where you would ideally deliver your supplies to if you're logistics. Let's talk logistics a bit more. I love playing logistics. I love building a wagon, a truck, and then I love going to the scrap yards and just getting a load of scrap and taking it to the factory, refining it into basic materials, taking them basic materials, crafting weapons, ammunition, grenades, smoke bombs, chemical warfare, all of the rest of the stuff, medical kits, trauma packs, bandages, and then just seeing where they're needed, taking my truck right up to the front line, dropping them all the stuff off. Everybody comes running and grabbing the stuff off you, taking it to the front line and using it to kill and conquer, which is what the game's about. Then I go back and start doing it all again, ferrying a few people around, and I was really enjoying it until people started to try and steal my truck. Lazy people who will not just make their own or just run the 5 or 10 minutes it is to get from where they are to where they want to be, because the map is quite big. You know, this is the problem with the game. You need trucks because you can't carry everything. Once you get up to 100% encumbered, or whatever it's called, you will not be able to carry much more. Well, you will. You can carry as much as you want, as long as you've got slots in your backpack, but you will only be able to walk very, very slowly. You can't run anymore. So it's imperative that we have trucks and vehicles doing the right thing. But if people are stealing them all the time, what's the point? Another thing that's a problem in this game is people build a vehicle, and then when they log out, they lock the vehicle, because you've got this option to lock your vehicle. No one else can get in unless they break in with a special tool that they have to craft. And so what you have is, you'll have lorries all over the place, trucks everywhere, of people locking them up. When I log out, I drive my vehicle to where everybody is, unlock it and say, there you go, have a truck, because they're going to need it, and it helps the cause. What is the point of building a truck and then locking it and going to do something? If you're not using it, give it to somebody else. It's a team game. I don't get it. I don't get the selfishness of people. I mean, the amount of times I've caught people twocking my vehicle while I've been refining the stuff that I'm going to be putting in it. It's just ludicrous. Why would people do that in a game? I don't know whether it's a generational thing or what, but honestly, some of the people that play games today are just awful people. Really awful people they're just awful human beings, you know. And that is a problem with team killers as well. You will get kicked if you do excessive team kill, but that doesn't seem to stop people from team killing. I mean, it happens by accident, but you should always say sorry. The first time I got on my motorcycle and sidecar, I was ferrying first aid kits quickly because they are so much quicker than a lorry. Just like, you can't carry many, but you can get there fast. And my job was, I was just quickly ferrying a few first aid kits to where they were urgently needed. And I was flying along the road and I tried to stop, and I saw this guy, and I turned it, but the control is so skatey that I slid sideways and killed this guy, and I felt so bad. I did type sorry and he was alright about it, but accidents happen. But some people deliberately do it. They deliberately go and, you know, kill people, which is a shame. So anyway, that's logistics. Now, on the front line, the combat. The combat isn't that good because you can't see very far with your person unless you're using binoculars and things like that. You basically hold your right mouse button down and then you move the mouse around, or the controller, and you can see as far as you can see on this screen, which isn't very far. So a lot of the time you're firing at where bullets is coming from. You can't see the enemy, but you fire in that direction. I think he's around about there, but it's all hit and miss. It's only when there's a push or an advance coming that you actually get to shoot people properly. I mean, there was one bit recently where I was hiding behind a tank. There was only a few of us holding the front line while the rest were reinforcing and coming up. There was 120 players on the server, 60 aside. And we were waiting for reinforcements and we were trying to hold them. And they were pushing, and I could hear them on the voice, because it's like proximity voice. And they were talking and I could hear the enemy trying to pinpoint my position. And I knew they were coming, and I had an SMG. And I only had 3 clips, and I was trying to hold them as long as I could, but I had to pull back, and I pulled back into a foxhole that some of my team had made, and you can see the enemy pushing and pushing and pushing, but then they throw smoke down, and I know it's the end. I have a choice. I can either run or stay. I chose to stay, hoping that we'd get reinforcements soon, but the reinforcements never arrived and I died. And it is fun. I enjoy that. I mean, the combat is good when you can see the enemy. We're going to get sniper rifles soon, I think, but they're not there yet. But the overall game is fun. It really is. I love this game. It's one of the best of this type. There's not many like this. This game has the depth. And it has a role for everybody, whether you want to be a medic, whether you want to be a truck driver, whether you want to be a resource gatherer, whether you want to be a miner. You can mine tunnels towards the enemy. It's a lot of strategy, but buyer beware though, there is team killing that goes on this game. There is some selfish people, but you know, you're going to get that when you've got 120 people on the server. And you know, I'm dealing with it, I'm tolerating it, but it is annoying. It's not annoying enough to put me off playing the game. The game is good. It needs fixing though. If the developers are watching this, we need to see further. You need to do something about this off-screen firing, because it's not cool, bro. It needs something. You need to be able to zoom out a little bit more. Something. It's just not good the way it is. It kind of spoils a lot of the combat for me, which is probably why I spend so much time on logistics, because I find that way more fun. But it is definitely worth buying this game. It's $14.99 and it's worth every penny, I think, and it's only going to get better. It is in alpha. There's a lot more coming to this game, and it's well worth supporting if you're into this type of stuff. So there you go, guys. Foxhole is definitely worth a buy.